Hello, welcome back to the channel. I don't know if you could tell, but my garden beds are a bit of a mess. There's this one here in the front of the house, and then there's the other one, which isn't looking much better. Just the other day, I started trimming up my hedges, finally, and I've got this side done, and I got the other side done. I used the DeWalt hedge trimmer that I recently purchased. I think it was back in last November, December. Made quick work of everything. They may still look a little scraggly a bit, but that's because I want them to fill in or gain height. I may even come back with the hedge trimmer and touch a few spots here that I'm seeing now that I didn't see the other day. But that's not my primary concern today. My primary concern is cleaning up all of the trimmings that I left behind, and also some of these, I don't know if you can see here, I have scraggly leftover plants. I think this might have been a salvia here, and there's a few other things that are sticking out of the ground. And then what I'd like to do, once I get everything cleaned up and maybe do a little bit of weeding, is just put down a little bit of fresh compost and or mulch. So let me start going, and then we'll look at the other bed, which I think is even worse condition. Well, there was a lot more weeding and cleaning up to do in this bed than I thought originally, but I started getting the mulch down, and as you can see here, right in front of me, or right next to me I should say, I started putting down compost in select areas, and that was because some of those areas were a little low. They had little dips or valleys, and that may be because I planted certain stuff high, like this carnation right here. Now, I don't know if this carnation is going to make it through the winter, but it seems to have made it this far. So I added some compost around it, and then I'm going to get some more mulch. I'm going to mulch on top of that. I have to be careful because there's certain areas like right here. I don't know if you guys probably can't see that. I have my primrose. Although it grows like a weed, I don't want to completely bury it if I don't have to. I have alliums that'll be coming up here in the spring, hopefully, and sea holly, which hopefully the deer will stop eating. Sea holly is supposed to be deer resistant, but go tell that to my deers. So I started, like I said, I started getting the mulch down, and I got behind the bushes. I pulled out a lot of weedy vines that I have down here. I couldn't tell you what they are. I didn't stop to do a plant identification, although I know they are a pain. Thankfully, they don't wrap themselves around the bushes, but they do grow up through the bushes and along the foundation, and they're just ugly. And so I ripped a bunch of them out, which was great. Like I said, I will come back and I will finish mulching this, and this bed will then be complete. Now I still have to do the other bed, but A, I'm out of mulch, and B, I'm out of steam. So this will be a project for another day. Hello, welcome back to my garden. So today we're going to just continue doing what I started doing the other day. I'm going to try to continue cleaning up the front flower bed here. I have to order mulch, and I'm going to be doing that soon. But in the meantime, I can still clean up a lot of the dead plant material. I can turn around and put down new compost. I can remove some of these weeds. And it is a strange time of year to be doing this in January, but again, I'm in growing zone 8B. It's pretty warm. The ground here doesn't freeze. And because the ground doesn't freeze, there's quite a few weeds that like to work during the winter time. I even have some daffodils poking up in a couple of places in the yard, which is really weird, but I'm just gonna crack on and see how much I can get done. Okay, so it's starting to rain, and my camera doesn't like the wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to maybe try to continue on, get what little left I had around the drain, the down spout area, and then maybe call it a day and pick this up another day, and hopefully by then I have my mulch, so then I can start pulling everything together. I do want to make a note though. while I'm here talking. I'm not trying to get up all of the hedge clippings, just a lot of the big stuff. A lot of the leaves, the small twigs, they can all stay down on the ground, sort of just chop and drop, right? So you just cut it and leave it in place and it'll rot in place. And that's sort of A, because I'm lazy, and B, it's good for the soil because eventually it'll all rot down, it'll all break down, and that'll only help to improve the soil. And my soil needs a lot of improvement. So I'm just going to continue to keep going. Again, pulling up a lot of the hedge clippings from when I trimmed the hedges the other day, and also pulling up some of the weeds that are in the bed. There's not too many, but there are some, and I'd rather get them up now before they get a whole lot bigger, because they are putting on growth now, but come the springtime, they will absolutely explode if I don't do something about them. So the sooner I can get them up, the better. I'm trying not to step on plants, but I'm sure I'm stepping on plants. We will see what survives come this springtime. I know I have a lot of gaps in both the front beds because I planted things like zinnias last year, and obviously they're annual, so they went. I pulled up Montauk daisies that I had growing in the one bed that I pulled it because I just didn't like they were growing, they were dying back. It was a hot mess. I just decided enough, pull them out, so I have a gap there. And of course the bushes have all gotten a little larger, which is what I intended or wanted them to do. So plants that were underneath or a lot closer have been moved. Other plants were just totally removed altogether. So I am going to be doing some rearranging or replanting of both the flower beds come the springtime, which is fine because, again, I have a whole plethora of plants that I want to try growing this year. A lot of different flowers, things like that. Again, with those gaps being there, it's just opportunity, right? Let me get back to work. Let me get to cleaning up. It is raining a little heavier now, so maybe I won't be. Well, we're back at it again today. I'm going to try to finish getting this bed and perhaps even the driveway bed mulched on this multi-day project. And it's been grueling. And as you can see, I've been putting down new mulch because I received some the other day in between all these various shoots here. And yeah, so it's coming along. A lot of the beds have been previously weeded, or at least this front half over here. And I still have to do weeding on the driveway side, but it's all getting there. And once this is done, these beds will now be good for the upcoming spring. They'll be cleaned. I've noticed there's quite a few blank spots, maybe where they were annuals last year or plants that just didn't take. There are a few plants that are dormant right now, so before I start filling in gaps in the springtime, I'll wait a few weeks, and by the time the seedlings are ready to plant out into the garden, hopefully a lot of the plants that are dormant will pop up. You may notice that there are plenty of plants that are still alive because, again, I'm in eastern North Carolina growing zone 8B. There are things like the Alaska Shasta daisy right here, which they don't mind the cold. They will wilt down, they will look a little rough until the sun comes out, and then they'll start looking great. Behind them, I have I believe it's clary sage, and again, it hasn't been minding the cold. It's been doing all right. There's a few other plants, Nagastache and some red hot pokers, and there's a southern blue flag iris over there by the downspout that, again, they don't seem to mind the cold so much. They've been hanging in there. We are going to get more cold days. Next few days after this, I don't know when this is going to get posted, but the next few days is supposed to be cold, and then we're going to be getting up into the high 60s, low 70s, which is just absolutely crazy, but it's the jet stream as it goes up and down and round it goes, and it messes with the weather. I hope it doesn't trigger the plants to start growing too soon because, again, we've got at least another month of really cold temps and definitely a lot of freezing nights ahead. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but instead of me sitting here prattling on forever, let me get work. right, there you go. Another winter project done. I did the 2 front beds, and then I made my way down this way. It's another winter project done. This bed was very weedy with dandelions. I didn't realize how much it was, but now it's a whole lot better. And there's a lot of gaps in here, a lot of space, which is actually good because I plan on growing quite a few things that, like I think the wild primrose. If you saw my video, I'm going to grow a wild primrose, and I think that's a partially shady plant. And I think that will do very well in this bed. I will be planting up more of the Pinto Coleus Pinto Coleus mix, something like that. I'll be planting more of that up. Words are hard. Yeah, everything in this bed looks pretty good. There's going to be a lot of foxgloves this year, which I'm pretty excited about. There's going to be some irises. Again, I'm pretty excited about that. I have ginger lily along the back wall, and though it looks, I'm not going to show it to you now. You may have seen it already, or you may still see it in frame. It looks terrible, just some sticks sticking out of the ground, but I'm hoping that come the springtime, it comes alive, takes off. I just have to be careful because it might become too much of a thug. So I'll probably have to be on top of it and thinning it out. There's some gaps in the front beds too. Again, I plan on planting, you've seen my seed videos, and there's a bunch of seeds that I didn't get to plant last year or I want to plant more of this year. So I'll be planting them. And as you can see over here, I still have plenty of mulch. Right here, I have bricks and a bit of fencing. That's what this tubular thing is here. The bricks are going to be for the back walkway, and although that's not really garden related, I'll probably do a quick little video on that because I also want to show you guys the space next to the brick walkway. And I'm hopeful that maybe you guys have some good ideas as to maybe what I can do with this space. I think I'd like to turn it into some other type of garden. But the sunlight, I'll talk more about that in detail when I get to that. The fencing will be used to go around the fig tree. I need to put a little bit of fencing around, and also I may have to do it around a few other trees that are out in the orchard because I don't know what the deer are going to do. They've been kind of laying off the garden a bit this winter, and I think that's partially because of Sophie here. Oh, she likes to chase the deer. She's a deer chaser. Look at that face. Come on. It's terrifying. Hey, did you know I have a newsletter? If you haven't signed up for that newsletter yet, please go over to growinggreenfinger.com. Go scroll all the way down to the bottom of the homepage. There as a thing, newsletter. I just need your email address. I don't want any personal information or any of that jazz. And I'm only going to send out one newsletter once a month, sort of a recap, a roundup. Go ahead and sign up for that. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.